everyone, and welcome to Think Future. I'm Calabucas, and once again we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation startups of the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. Now, some people are saying to me, Calabucas, what is this thing about chaos? You know, nobody likes chaos. No, everyone thinks chaos is awful, and they want to bring as much order into their lives as possible, so they can't handle the chaos. But I'm almost thinking that one of the reasons why we're in as bad a state that we're in is that we have to try and layer that order over the chaos. And I think we might be trying too hard to layer the order over chaos. And if you think about an example, for example, is software development, right? We used to have waterfall software development where one thing would follow the other, and then the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. And we realized that wasn't going to work because by the time we started at the beginning with specifications and we got to the end with a finished product, that everything had changed so much. The chaos of life had changed everything so much that the product that came out the door was no longer valid. So what did? We started bringing some chaos into the product development process through Agile, right? Because Agile software development takes advantage of, well, I don't know if it takes advantage of, it accounts for the chaos of the world, because it's not a fixed set of requirements that has to be worked on day after day after day after day. Every day there could be a change. Every day could be different. So it takes chaos into account. And that's one of the things I love about Agile project management, Agile product development, is because the concept of Agile can actually be applied everywhere. I think I wrote a blog post called Agile is Eating the World. So it's not just in the software space, it's everywhere. In fact, we should probably all manage our lives in an Agile way because it accounts for the chaos in the world, right? So chaos is not something we can run away from. Chaos is always there. It's underneath everything. And the question is, if the better you can not manage chaos, because you can't manage chaos because you have no idea when chaos is going to upset all of your plans. But what you can do is you can build resilience against chaos. So if chaos does occur, no matter what it is, you don't have to know what the chaos is. And this is especially a problem with futurists, because futurists, we look at what the signals that are out there, and we look at the trends that are out there, and we just extend those trends into the future, and we say, this is probably what's going to happen. And we look at things that are going away, and we look at things that are coming in, and we cross those things, and we come up with these scenarios, and multiple scenarios of what could happen. And it could be based on what we're seeing happening out there, or what kind of decisions we feel that our customers are trying to make, right? So it's almost impossible to come out of this with a accurate presupposition of where things are going to go, because chaos will always come into the equation. And maybe at some point in the future where we can build millions of simultaneous simulations of the real world and run them through an AI, and then this AI can determine which one is the best and then make the decisions in that way. I mean, and basically you saw it in Endgame when Doctor Strange looked at all the permutations of actions that they could take, and there was only one that would work. But it's basically an AI version of that, right? The chaos is always there. But the other thing about the chaos that's really cool is that, sure, it can upset your plans. It can totally upset your plans. In fact, that's what the chaos is there for. It is there to upset your plans. And you know what? Forget about it. You cannot get away from it. It is there. It will always be there. You cannot live without chaos. Life is chaos. You can try and minimize how chaos affects you, but chaos is always there. But one of the other things about chaos is that that's where creativity comes from. And that's where coincidences come from. If there wasn't chaos, then we wouldn't get coincidences. And sometimes these coincidences are so compelling and interesting that they can actually generate new creative solutions for you. The more chaos there is, and the more chaos you can look at, and the more chaos you can watch, which is funny because chaos is the exact opposite of what people like. People hate chaos. Are you kidding? I mean, I read somewhere that they had they were talking about putting people into an fMRI to see if they could figure out what happened in their brain when they were watching a particular thing on screen. And somebody said, oh yeah, just put in like a random pattern, you know, the random pattern dots you see when on a TV when there's no signal. And somebody said, oh no, that's the worst thing you can do, because the brain tries to see patterns. And if you put in a whole set of random stuff in there, it's not going to like it. It'll stress it out. So if you want to stress out your brain, just look at one of those test patterns, you know, the fuzzing test pattern on your TV. That'll really stress your brain out. And that's one of the reasons why we run from chaos, is because when we see chaos, we go, oh my God, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Because we're rational beings. We don't like chaos. We don't like chaos. But it's there. It's there. So instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to try and stay away from chaos as much as possible, I'm going to build a moat over chaos. I'm going to build a bridge over chaos. And I'm going to try and stay on that bridge and hope that chaos doesn't knock it down. Instead of doing that, work with the chaos. Think of it as, instead of bridging the chaos, think of it as surfing the chaos. Think of it as bouncing up and down on the chaos, going, oh, there's a wave and there's another wave, there's another wave, bouncing along on these different waves of chaos. And then as you're on these waves of chaos, and as these coincidences start occurring in this chaotic space, maybe you can put those coincidences together, or you can observe those coincidences and say to yourself, huh, that's interesting. I never thought of that before. When these two things, or these three things sort of come together in a different way, then maybe I can create something new. Maybe I can invent something different. Maybe I can bring something new into the world. So all of this chaos creates these coincidences. And the chaos creating the coincidences creates new thoughts, new ideas, new products, new creative things that all you need to do is put together and determine, is this something I want to build? That's where creativity comes from. Creativity comes from seeing the coincidences that come out of chaos. Or at least some of it does. So wouldn't it be great if, instead of trying to fight back against chaos, we embrace the chaos and we use the chaos to improve the world?